I'm Benjamin Christian, and welcome to Storytime with Benji, which, by the way, is a nickname that I got in high school. I don't know how it started, but it stuck, and I go with it whenever I'm talking to friends or whoever's watching this. So, I don't know, we'll start with yesterday. Yesterday, I went to a Kenny Chesney concert with a few friends. Actually, it was absolutely amazing. And believe it or not, which actually you might believe it, I was the only black person in the entire stadium. Thousands of people, and I'm the only black guy. So I took it upon myself to rock out though, because I love country music. That's a confession. So anyways, the story starts when I go meet up with Jake and Mariah at their hotel. We go and we chill for a little bit, and then we go out because they want to eat because everyone's hungry. So we go and eat, and we go to this little, supposed to be pizza place. There's no one in there. There's this Jewish guy in the front with the hair, and he's literally falling asleep. He's yawning, and you can't see his eyes because there's so much hair in front of his face. The food was terrible. Moral of the story, don't go to that place. I don't even remember the name of it. That's how bad it was. So then we leave there and we go downtown, and they were like, hey, we'll just walk down there. I was like, no, it's 3 miles. I'll Uber. They're like, no, I don't want you to pay for that. I was like, I do not care. We're Ubering. So we Ubered downtown, and because we're supposed to go meet Seth and Maya, which are nowhere to be found. I can't get a hold of him. I called him 3 times, left him this voicemail, which I'm sure he loved because it was very nice. And so we don't get a hold of them, so we're like, screw it. So we go downtown, we're walking the strip, which again, the strip is completely pointless unless you're 21 because there's nothing you can do. You have the bar, you can't go in the bars really, or you can, but you can't do anything. So it's a waste of time. So then Mariah's mom calls and she's like, hey, you guys need to come back because Mariah, you need to get your ticket or whatever. It's ticket situation, something like that. Okay. So we start heading back and we go back to Seth's hotel because Seth calls me during this and I'm like, it's about time. He said he got tied up with some stuff. So we go and meet Seth and we talk to them for a little bit. And then we head back and we gotta go Uber again. Well, our Uber drivers are quite interesting. The first one, when I went and parked, my first guy was Indian, or not Indian, I don't know, Middle Eastern, and his last name was Hussein. So he could have been Saddam Hussein's stepbrother or something. I don't know. It was very uncomfortable for me. He's from Jordan too. The second person, which dropped us off at Seth's hotel, apparently had Harry Styles in her front seat. She had a picture of him, and Taylor Swift was in her back seat 2 years ago, she said. She had this crazy story. If you guys want to find out eventually, just let me know and I'll tell you about it. So this lady, she was really good. And then the third person, which was taking us back to Mariah and Jake's hotel after we met Seth and them, it was some old dude, and it was the car was 100% quiet for the first couple minutes. I was like, man, this is gonna suck. And finally, we're coming up on this road that we have to make a turn on, and his GPS just names off 50 names for this road. Not an understatement. And he looks over at me, he says, ain't that some shit? And I started dying. And then from then on, he was making fun of he said that the drivers in Nashville were terrible because they're all from towns where everyone drives a pickup truck and has nowhere to go, and some other comments he had. And then Jake goes, we're from one of those towns. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, are you working the Kenny Chesney concert tonight after? He said, hell no, I'm skipping out of town, getting as far away from this place as possible. We're like, oh, okay. But he ended up being pretty cool. So he drops us off. We get our tickets and stuff. And we start heading back to the stadium. We walk back there, back to Nissan Stadium. And we get there and we go in. And Jake and I are up top. Wait, actually, I skipped a part. hold the part where I said Jake and I are up top. So, while we were walking downtown on our way back to Seb, we stopped at this gas station because Jake wanted some sunglasses because he was trying to keep up with me, I guess. I don't know. And we go in there, and we're standing at the counter, and Jake said something. He always pisses me off, and I, like, snapped back at him. And I realized there was a lady in front of us. I was like, I'm sorry. I wasn't meaning to yell. He pisses me off sometimes. She's like, oh, it's okay. And she's probably, like, 35, maybe. I don't know. She was pretty, so, like, she couldn't have been that old. So Jake literally looks at her and says he has anger issues, and I like snapped back because I always do this. I was like, no, I don't. And she was like, oh, it's okay, because at this point I had pulled my sunglasses up like this, and she was like, it's okay, he has really beautiful, or you have really beautiful eyes. I was like, thank you. I was like, see, Jake, this is why I pull my sunglasses off, so people can see these beauties. And that really made my day. And, like, me and her had a connection for a minute. And then I was like, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I don't have time for this. I have places to be. So she was like, oh, I'm sorry, but hit me up next time you're here. I was like, all right. So we leave there, and we start going, back. Anyway, now we're back at the stadium. Jake and I are going up top, and we're like sitting in the wrong seat. We figure out where we're supposed to be, go back down, go back up in our actual seat we're supposed to be in. And then the concert's just, banging. It's awesome. And Jake won't get off his phone. He won't stop texting Mariah this entire time. It's really disgusting. He said it was bro time, but it was really like a quarter bro time, 75% girlfriend on the phone time, which is not cool whatsoever. And I can't wait till he sees this too. But then about halfway through the concert, right before during Kenny Chesney, actually, because he was, closing, Jake gets a text from Mariah, and she's like, both of you guys come down here. And we're like, okay. So we go down there, and you have to, like, show your ticket for this section, like this middle section, because, like, then no one cares about up top. But when you're, like, in the lower sections, you have to show your ticket to prove that you're actually sitting there. And, well, she was like, tickets, please. And Jake was like, our family's up there, whatever. And she didn't make us show our tickets. She let us go past. It must have been because she saw me, and she was like, yeah, I mean, let a brother through, And so I go through. And then there was, like, these other black dudes, like, standing there, and they were like, what's up? And I was like, what's up, bros? And then we go up. So we get in this room, and there's an escalator and stairs. The escalator goes down. The stairs go up. I don't know what the process of that was. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why would you want to walk up the stairs and take an escalator down? It should be the other way around. Anyway, so we go up, climb up these stairs after we had to take an elevator down and then take stairs all the way back up. It's a major design flaw. I think they should just blow up the stadium and rebuild a new one. But anyways, that's not important. So we got down there, and we're like standing there. Up top, half the people were sitting down. Down there, everyone was standing up. It was awesome. So we're like standing there, and I'm dancing, just like in it, just going at singing a song, singing my heart out. I'm starting to lose my voice, and then all of a sudden, this like old lady, or she's older, comes over to me. I'm like, man, more old ladies. And so she comes over to me. She said, if you're going to sit in our seat, like she's like yelling this in my ear because it's so loud, you're going to have to come dance with us because we think you're awesome. And I was like, well, I am awesome, but why do I have to dance with you guys? And so she grabs me and like pulls me down to her and her friend. I don't even remember what the heck she said her friend's name was because it was irrelevant. And she then, like, a minute later, she was like, you don't actually have to dance with us. We were just messing with you. And I was like, well, I'm sorry about your seat. It was all Jake's fault. He made me, like, come down here because of Mariah, And I was like, well, I'll dance with you guys at least one song. And she was like, you're so awesome, blah, 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 blah. And so I danced with them a song. And then the next song started, And I was about to dance with them a little bit more just because, you know, I didn't want to be a douchebag. Like, I'm a nice guy. Like, I make sure everyone has a good time. And so I started to dance, and she was like, no, seriously, you can go back. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I have had enough of this. I'm going back. So I go back to Jake and them. I make sure that he knows how upset I am. And then there's this other guy who's sitting beside me, and he doesn't move this entire show. His girlfriend's like sitting there, she's like, yeah, you know, singing, dancing, whatever, and he doesn't mouth a word. He just stands there. And I told him, I was like, dude, I was like screaming at him. I was like, if you don't stand up and sing one song, I was like, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you. I literally said this, and this whole time, like, every time it would be like a big, I don't know, moment where everyone's singing, I would just like turn over to him and just start pointing in his face and like yelling, and like he thought it was pretty funny. His girlfriend thought it was hilarious, but that was all very exciting. And then the concert ended and we started heading out, and Mariah felt like she was gonna throw up. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe she drank too much water. And so we go out, and remember, we're like 3 miles from the hotel, and Mariah's mom was like, Mariah can't walk all that way back. And we're like, okay. So Jake's like, I'll carry her. I'm like, yeah, right. Jake's scrawny arms are gonna carry her that far. I don't think so. But he picks her up and takes her down the ramp at the Titan Stadium. And then they get out there, and then he's finally like, he's like dying. He's like, I can't do this anymore. This is so, I can't. I'm so weak. And so then he puts her down, and she jumps on his back, and he starts carrying her that way. And Jake's mom was like, Jake can't carry her all the way there. And he was like, yes, I can. I was like, yes. He was like, is that a challenge? I was like, yes. And so I had to go back, like, I was 3 miles in the other direction, and I wasn't going back with them because I was coming back home. So I said goodbye to everyone, and I left. And then I texted Mariah, and she texted me back later this morning, and she was like, I ended up throwing up over the bridge, but I feel better now. So I'm assuming Jake didn't carry her all the way because he's physically too weak for that. He skipped out on the weight room for 4 years. He never lifted a weight. He sucks at that. But I still love you, buddy. I love you, Mariah. I love your family. I love the awesome time we had together. And anytime somebody's up here in the Nashville area, let me know, because I am the life of the party, and I will party. Benji out, and thank you for listening to Storytime with Benji. Ding.